Hello, everybody. Welcome into this interview series with Harpers Ferry Town Council candidates. We have Chris Craig here with us this afternoon. How are you, sir?
I'm good today. How are you doing?
Good, good. I'll start with the same question I've started with everybody, and that is why run for town council? Why did you decide to do this?
I think that Harpers Ferry is at a point in time where it's got a lot of opportunities that are exciting, and also a lot of needs. And I'm excited to be a part of that.
Are there issues that you think sort of are bigger priorities than others? Like, are there things you really want to get started on, like infrastructure, or maybe issues with the hotel or the relationship with Bolivar? What things are at the top of your priority list?
Yeah, well, I think first off, there's been a lot of groundwork laid by the present council on the hotel redevelopment for the Hilltop House. And so I see tremendous opportunity with that. I want to go forward. I want to continue with kind of a collegial relationship with Swan as that goes forward. And so that would be one priority. Infrastructure certainly is an issue. I support some of the groundwork that's been laid and the redevelopment on the water system. Also support the need for fee increases, but I am concerned about how steep those increases have been, especially for those on limited incomes. So I'm kind of excited to look at some opportunities and possible solutions to that issue.
You brought up the hotel. I have to ask, was the hotel something you've always supported it coming to town, or what's been your position on that?
I think when the initial proposals were made back 12, 13 years ago, I had some of the same concerns as many citizens in town, that it was too large and that the town was somewhat in danger of being just overwhelmed by the size of that hotel. I think that Swan has, through the years, largely addressed those issues. They've come up with a design plan that seems fitting for the property and the town, and so I've been supportive of that for during recent years. Yeah.
The issue of the hotel has kind of divided a lot of people in town. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to bringing people together, if you are elected to town council, what ways do you think you could help, kind of reunite the community?
Well, one thing, as I talked to people during my mayoral candidacy 2 years ago, and a bit this year, although it's this year, as you know, has been not your typical time for candidacies. I've heard concerns expressed about traffic, about busyness in town. These are ongoing issues, not solely related to the Hilltop, but I think people that the addition of the Hilltop scares them a little bit. And so I think one of the things is to take those piece by piece and address them as we can. Harpers Ferry is a a tourist town, and it's becoming ever more popular as a tourist town. So we're going to have to deal with busyness, but I do think there are common sense solutions and looking for expertise that can really mitigate and help those concerns.
You said that you ran for mayor before. Have you ever held public office before?
No, I have not.
Okay, so
I've been a volunteer on various town agencies, both here and in DC.
how long have you been in Harpers Ferry?
We bought property in Harpers Ferry in 2001, and then I moved in full time in 2005.
Wow. So you've seen it kind of grow then over the last 15 or so years. Can you talk a little bit about the differences between 2005 and 2021 in Harpers Ferry?
Yeah, well, growth has been limited. It's not a town where there's a lot of room to grow.
Mhm.
But when we moved to Harpers Ferry, we found it a warm, welcoming town, and we still find it that way. We have wonderful friends and love the town for the same thing that nearly everyone loves Harpers Ferry for. It's a historical town with nature all around it, amazing history, amazing rivers and trails, and so I don't think change since 2005 would be the dominant thing that I've seen. It's a lot of continuity.
Now, the being on town council requires a lot of time. I've noticed with the meetings they can run 3 or 4 hours at a time. Is that something you're concerned about at all? And also, do you keep tabs on the town council meetings? Do you watch them online, or do you go back and watch them?
I do participate in many of them. Yes. So yeah, I'm a long-term veteran, and I've been on the Board of Zoning Appeals for I believe the past 6 years or so. So you know, I'm kind of a veteran of meetings.
Do you currently, are you friendly with any of the people currently on council?
Yes. Well, I'm married to one.
Oh,
So Ed Wheelis is my spouse.
how long have you guys been together?
23 years.
Wow. So he came in kind of only recently with a vacancy.
Well, he had been on town council 2 terms ago, and he's still working full time. So he was not ready to continue that. I'm, for the most part, retired. I have some part-time employment, but so I'm a little bit freer with my time right now.
What did you do when you were working?
My long-term background was 20 years as a teacher, special education teacher. Taught in Kansas, where I'm from originally, in DC, and out here at Jefferson High. Then in 2007, we opened up our house as a bed and breakfast. So I ran Laurel Lodge Bed and Breakfast for 10 years. Decided, even though that was a successful business and we loved our guests and everything, it was a bit intense. And after 10 years, I was ready for a change from that. So we closed at the end of 2016. I'm now a certified park guide for Harpers Ferry National Historical Park, and give tours. And I'm also up to my eyeballs in volunteer duties of various kinds.
Well, what makes you want to be such a volunteer? I asked this to some of the candidates as well, because some people just love to volunteer. Is that you?
Uh, yeah, I think it's a tradition in my family. Um, have always been involved um, since high school. You know, have been involved in organizations, and I see great needs. I'm an environmentalist. I'm um, person who has great concerns for human rights, and so I volunteered in various ways over many years. But that's increased since I've not been full-time employed.
Now, I want to get to kind of the budgeting process for the town, because from what I understand, there have been money issues in the past. I mean, everybody could always use more money, but at the same time, there has been some questioning about, you know, where some money should go or how much money you need, and it goes on and on. Do you have any way to remedy that? Do you have any, if you are elected, how do you come in and kind of help clean up any budgeting issues that they have?
Um, well, I guess I'm, you know, running a small business for many years, and um, just my personal background, I feel like I'm pretty skilled with watching pennies. And I think that I think my major concern 2 years ago, when I was running for mayor, was that there was an inordinate amount of money going into legal fees and into issues that the town didn't need to be spending money on, at least to the extent it was. I think that has improved in recent time. Harpers Ferry, like every place else in the universe, was hit by the pandemic, but we have managed to be pretty fortunate in since May of last year to just be pretty busy with tourism business and people spending money in town. So, you know, I guess generally, I want to spend money on things that are important for the town to spend money on. I would definitely also like to see more money going into things that we've never spent much money on, things like the fire company, things like the library, public transportation, and so as funds increase, as I think they will, as the hotel moves in, I see great opportunities. And yes, I want to spend money wisely, but I am not going to see tremendous belt tightening needed at this point.
What do you think are some of the really positive things the current administration has accomplished over the last 2 years? And then conversely, what do you think some of the things are that they could have done a little bit better?
I think that the present council is really to be commended on the street agreement with Swan. I mean, I was hopeful as they went into that. I was actually amazed at the product they came out with. And so I think they are really to be commended on that. I think that it's very likely that the hilltop redevelopment will be taken over by the state due to the new state laws, and Swan's application for the tourism district. And I think that the street agreement was negotiated in a way that nearly all of the town code and the requirements of the historic district are going to be maintained with the new redevelopment. So I'm excited about that, and I really commend them on that. I would have to say, under the present administration, that responsiveness to citizen concerns has not been a priority under the present mayor, and I'd like to see that change, and I think it will change with our new mayor.
So I guess from there, I want to ask this, and then we'll get into a couple fun questions to wrap things up. If you aren't successful this time around, would you consider running again in 2 years, or would you run for mayor at another point? Have you thought that far forward?
I would be open, depending on what I see as the need. I made kind of a last minute decision to run for council when there was no rush to sign up.
Yeah.
And so I would be open to it. I also have see great value in the volunteer work that I'm doing in the town and elsewhere. I've been one of the, I guess, prime people involved in trail support, initiatives, and of course, obviously, the relationship with the national park as well. And I see that I can continue to do that whether I'm on the council or not. I think a council position has some advantages, but you know, either on council or off council, I'm going to probably be involved 2 years and beyond.
So now I just have a few fun questions. This is where it gets fun. And I always start out with this, of course. If I'm going to spend a night in Harpers Ferry, where's the best place to get dinner?
That's the kind of question that that any public citizen, and especially a candidate for office, does not want to answer. We have a lot of great places to eat in town and fun places to eat, and so I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay, that's fair enough. During the pandemic, a lot of people picked up a new hobby or did something. Maybe they binged a television series they had never seen before. Was there anything you've done over the last year or so in the pandemic, and especially during when everybody was locked down, that you kind of picked up a new thing?
Well, you know, my hobby for one of my hobbies for a long time has been outdoor adventure, hiking and bicycling, and I continued that, really probably increased it during the pandemic. So that was not a big change. One thing that was a change for me and my family, I have family spread out from Seattle to Gaithersburg, and with a good portion of them around Kansas. And so I guess maybe 8 months ago or so, my family started doing bi-weekly Zoom meetings every other Sunday afternoon in our time zone. And that's been a lot of fun. I feel like I've connected with adult nephews that I hadn't spent a lot of time with since they were little guys, you know, and so that's been really fun for me to reconnect with family in a new way.
Yeah, did it bring about you actually being more connected than you would have been otherwise?
I think with some of them, yeah. And I tend, because I'm hard of hearing, I tend not to go to phone calls a great deal. Zoom and some of the other online meeting applications have been just wonderful for me. I can plug my hearing aids into the loop and, you know, you're broadcasting right into my head. So that's been great.
What is your favorite movie?
I'm sorry, say that again.
What is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie. Wow. I have two.
Okay.
They go way back. One probably before I was born, but The Seventh Seal of Ingmar Bergman is I think one of the greatest movies ever made.
Okay.
And I love the old Bud Court and can't even think of her name, but Harold and Maude was kind of a delight from my late teenage years on. I've watched it many times and love it.
Oh. Who would you consider to be your role model?
My role model, huh? Right now, I think I'd have to say Joe Biden.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's become a heroic figure for me, someone at his age and with his stamina who's come into the situation he's come into. I admire him greatly, and I'm extremely thankful for what he's doing for the country right now.
What is your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Probably mint chocolate chip.
Really? Do you get it a lot?
No. No. I try to not overdo ice cream. Tend to do more cookies, because that's better for my diet. But,
what's your favorite cookie?
Joe Frogger's. Do you know Joe Frogger's?
What's that?
Yeah, it's kind of a molasses spice cookie. Yeah.
You do donuts at all?
Sometimes, not a whole lot. You know, I do have a kind of a weakness for pastries and sweet breads. Yeah.
So this will be the final one. You said that you really like being outdoors, and you weren't going to answer the restaurant question, but I'll ask you, if I'm going to come to Harpers Ferry for a good hike, where should I go? What's some of the best trails?
Well, you know, I worked with guests during 10 years of operating a B&B, and now I still talk to a lot of clients in the park about that. And I'll usually try to get a feel for what they're capable of and what they're able to do. We're blessed with so many wonderful hikes in Harpers Ferry. I love Maryland Heights. I've led hikes up there, and love the history and the views. When Maryland Heights is awfully crowded, Loudon Heights is a great one to go up to. But the easy, wonderful hikes, you know, Virginius Island, where you see this amazing history and you're just strolling along the Shenandoah River. Wow, what an opportunity. So hard for me to pin down just one, but it's going to depend upon who I'm talking to and what they, you know, their time and their capabilities.
Okay, all right. Well, that's all I've got. I really appreciate you taking the time. Thank you so much for spending a half hour here. Good luck with everything. Do you have a Facebook page or any way people can contact you if they want to?
I do have a Facebook page, Chris Craig for mayor. I'm sorry, Chris Craig for council. And, I actually changed the name and kept some of the friends that I had 2 years ago. So, yeah, I welcome any questions or comments, or people can also reach me in town pretty easily. A lot of people know where I live, at the dead end of East Ridge Street, opposite the Hilltop House. And I would like to say thank you, Colin, for doing this series, and for to the Journal for your coverage of the local elections. I think it's really important for the region, and sometimes it's an issue that kind of gets buried under other news these days. So I appreciate your work and the Journal's work on it.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's been my pleasure, and we only have a couple more interviews to go. The election is right around the corner, so good luck with that. Like I said, thank you so much for taking the time, and I'm sure we'll talk soon one way or another.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.